Hello again, everybody. Now I'm back out here today on the trike build, and I'm working on changing out the steering mechanism for this little rack and pinion steering box. As you can see, it's got an input here that when it twists, the steering box moves side to side. And this should be a whole lot better setup than just what I've got on here. Now what I have on here is basically just, it was the handlebar system from the old four-wheeler. And it's just a direct connection that you would have your handlebars on that runs straight down, and you just, yeah. This is more a steering wheel like a car would have. So it should be a little better for this application. But we have to remove all of our old parts to get ready to put this one back on there. Okay, so as you can see, the steering right now consists of this rod that the steering wheel is bolted to, going down here into this. Now this was on the old four-wheeler. I need to cut it off right here, and that will have that free. And I'm probably just going to go ahead and cut right here to cut the steering wheel itself off of it. Now I do have a steering wheel, shaft, and all that. I don't know if that shaft is going to be long enough. I'll try it once I get everything cut out and see if we can use that whole setup, or if we're just going to stick to our original wheel and have somehow this just hooked up. We'll figure it out here in just a minute. But I'm also going to have to take loose these bolts for the tie rod ends and take those off, and then we should have no steering system whatsoever on this, and we'll go from there. Welding magnum on there. Now the steering wheel is very free, but this part needs all removed, and that doesn't. Yeah, I don't know what. Oh, I might have found what was making it so hard to steer. Yeah, that thing was about seized up. So that was our major hard to turn spot. So now we're going to take the nuts off of the bottom here. There we go. That can come out pretty easy. Quarter pins are a little rusty on this, so we just kind of rip them off. It's going to stay tight to the end, ain't it? There, it's loosening up some. Alright, so let's got the steering all unbolted. Okay, so here is our old steering mechanism. And as you can see, there's one tie rod, there's the other one. That is the distance between them that we need. And you might notice, I don't know, it may not show up on camera, but there's a small difference in width of this one and that one. So this one needs to be as long as that one does. So we're going to have to slightly expand that. I think the best thing I can think of to do is to go about in the middle of this, cut them, put a piece of pipe over them, and weld them back together. Then that way this will be lengthened enough to go that far. So yeah, we just need to find something to slip over that will be a pretty close fit, so we're not welding a lot, but so we're not filling a big gap in, but we just need a bar that is long enough for that. So let's see what I can find. Okay, well, the more I went, the more tools I got out. So I just kept on dragging stuff out. That's going to take me a while to put everything back. But I got the steering box mounted, but I have to change a couple of things. But I wanted to try mounting it like that so I could make sure that it was going to, the idea itself was going to work. I need to get a couple of different things. Let me spin you around here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, as you can see, I extended these by welding on, and yeah, I know my welds look awful. Welding on the tie rod ends, and it is just kind of straight. It's not really straight. That one is out a little. It just needs to be adjusted some, but I can do that once I get it permanently mounted. Now, you may be able to tell that it is not sitting straight. That's because those clamps are not the right size. That's the idea that I'm going to have, or that I'm going to use, but I need to get some smaller clamps. I wanted to put it together with what I had so that I could see if it will even work and if it would be worth it. And I think it definitely will be. So, okay, I just welded some tabs to the top here, and I just used clamps to clamp the steering box onto these. And the steering leads up and through this shaft. That's already turned down that way a little bit farther because I had it almost straight up. It was a straight shaft pretty much. But the U-joints take up just a little bit of wobble, so, you know. But anyway, that needs to be straightened back up. But anyway, this shaft right here goes all the way up to, of course, the steering wheel. And if you remember before, in order to steer this thing, you had to put everything you had into the steering wheel to get it to turn. Now I can grab it with one hand, and I can turn it with one hand from outside of the car. And you may notice it does wobble some. I need to get a bearing to put on here, and I guess I'll run a rod down from there, maybe even triangulate from the sides. That way it's all solid. That's the only thing holding it straight right now, and it's not a long enough pipe to really hold it straight. It's going to flop around, which that's fine for now. That will work just fine. The fact that it does steer 100% easier is well worth the effort. And I do like that box a lot better than just a direct connection. And also I like the adjustability that we will have here once I get ready to do the alignment on it. And it should be set up to actually take it for a little test drive. But yeah, that is what I've got done so far today. So all I gotta do now is mount a bearing to that right about in here so that it will solidify the whole steering column. It will stabilize it, let's say. It'll stabilize the whole steering column so it won't be doing that. We can't have that trying to drive. But that will stabilize it. Also, we need the smaller clamps. You can probably see from this angle that clamp is way too big. I'll probably end up using this hole that's already in it and this one to actually have the final clamps on it. But I'm going to have to get some smaller clamps to put on it, and that will have that mounted. Now, what I'm also thinking is going from the bottom of these pieces right here. It's an L that goes into this and down to here. I was thinking going from here over to this piece of metal so that it's even stronger. Also, I was wanting to, when I do that, I was wanting to put my battery up here, because I want to have, I'm basically going to have like a car battery up here. Be plenty of power, and it will have more weight in the front. See, right now my weight distribution is all wrong. And that's thanks to a comment that I got on one of my videos telling me that it was wrong. Someone had left me a comment, and it was, I guess they thought it was mean or something, but they had left a comment saying that I better not try to drive it because the weight is all wrong. I kind of knew that the weight distribution. They said the weight distribution was all wrong, and if I do try it, I'm going to wreck it. Well, probably would. But see, that got me looking into what the weight distribution should be. And I found out that you don't want all your weight in the back, which I kind of knew that already, but you want it to be like a 60-40 split, the 60 more toward the front. That way your weight is mainly balanced on these two front wheels. And of course, a lot of the weight has to be in the back just because of the engine. But now what I can do is I can put the battery in the front. That will give me a little bit of weight. I'm debating putting the fuel tank up front, but the thing about putting the fuel tank up front is I feel that that is a safety issue, because right now the fuel tank is in the back and it's away from me. If it does happen to catch on fire for some reason, I can get out. But if I have the fuel tank up here in the front, I feel that, like, if I get into an accident and the fuel tank gets broken for some reason, it's in the passenger compartment with me. I really don't want that. So I think I'm going to leave the fuel tank where it's at. I do need to add a little bit more weight to the front as well. When I get in there, my weight is shifted more. You can see that my weight is more toward the back. So I do need more weight onto the front. I don't want to make the thing too heavy though. I'm trying to look at what all I can take off of the back and move to the front and to save weight. I may take the little radiator off and put a bigger radiator in the front. That way I've got, well, it'd be better cooling anyway if I had a little radiator mounted in the front there. Now, I don't know where exactly all this stuff's going to mount yet, but I know I'm going to re-engineer some of this so that my weight distribution is closer to right. And yeah, and whoever you are that watched and commented that, I didn't think it was mean the way that you commented it, and I appreciate the comment. You don't have to delete your comments even if it is something mean, and you're saying something that's not too nice. If it's as long as it's not vulgar, you have a right to say what you want. And in that case, yeah, he let me know that my weight distribution was off and I needed to address that. I take that as help, because I'm building a vehicle here. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just slapping stuff together and hoping it works. So I do appreciate anybody that that leaves a comment. Anyway, that is probably about all I'm going to do today. It took a little longer than what it shows on the film because I did most of it. Well, I did have the camera running, I thought, but apparently it cut off. So I did most of it, not even on film. But of course, I'm not going to take everything back apart and start over. So yeah, it is what it is. I guess that's going to be about it for this video. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.